2025 class. So that's pretty exciting because I think initially when we were planning to have 2025 kind of be the last year that the time capsule can have contributions from LabMP 590. But we'll see if we want to extend it. We'll kind of do like a count of how many items we have after this class has made its contributions and see if we want to extend it for the next year. I'll kind of share a slideshow just to kind of give an overview of what the time capsule kind of entails and what our plans are. So here we go. I'll just share my screen. Hold on. Let me see if I can get present. There we go. Okay, so we have some images here of where we had initially planned, as Dr. Solas mentioned, to hold the time capsule. And so that has changed. So it was just kind of this attic area here, but we'll be having it probably at my house in Edmonton. And then this image here is just a picture of some storage compartments that Dr. Solas had. And that was kind of where we first started to collect items to include in this time capsule. So yeah, that's kind of where everything started. But we decided to do a time capsule when I was taking this course and just as it was ending. And so that was, I think, 3 years ago now. And we decided to have it open in 2045 because that's kind of the predicted time for the technological singularity. And so right now, our plan is to have the classes from 2023 to 2025 contribute to this time capsule and to tentatively open it in 2045. But if anyone has any suggestions of when you think a better date to open this time capsule would be, please let me know. And so in terms of storage, right now, again, as I mentioned before, it'd probably be hosted at my home in Edmonton, and the materials should be related to technology and anything that kind of captures what the current landscape looks like in 2025. So that could be like pop culture, it could be like medical tools. It could be like technologies you use on a daily basis, really anything that you think will potentially look different in 20 years' time with the emergence of AI. And another idea that we were having was to have like an online file storage so we could have video messages or kind of certain files from like this class or previous classes, like any key videos we have stored in a USB or something that can be like opened at a later date. And we were also planning to see if we can open it up to other students. So that could be through like Reddit posts or QR codes just to kind of advertise it for other students at the U of A. And in terms of kind of what has happened since, so I go to the U of C now, and I've opened it to classmates who go to the U of C to medical school with me. And so some items that we've kind of collected are like suturing kits, reflex hammers, just tools that we use like on a daily basis that we think could potentially change over the next little while. I'm also planning to collect some 3D printed objects from the engineering department in at the U of A. So I have plans to include those items as well. And so, yeah, as I said before, just some ideas that have gone around are just like popular books, news articles, art projects. Like, how do you think art will change over the next little while here, especially with the emergence of like AI images? Like, that wasn't even a thing when, or it wasn't really widely accessed 2 years ago, like how it is today. And I think Dr. Soles was actually one of like the first people I knew who was developing AI images. So it's pretty cool to see just even in 2 years how much things have changed. So now I'll kind of open up the floor to this class here and to Dr. Soles to kind of share any thoughts you have for what you would like to see included in this time capsule. If you have an item that you've decided on to include in the time capsule, kind of share that with us. And then also, as I kind of mentioned in the email, if you can kind of give an overview of what you thought 2045 would look like before you started the class versus after, that would also be really nice to hear. So I think we can kind of go in a circle and share that. So if it's okay, I'll call on people. If you don't want to participate, you can kind of let us know in the chat. So we can start with Sarjana. Sorry if I say your name wrong.
Georgiana, she may be away from her Zoom box. I don't know. We we can go back to her maybe. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. The next person I have on here is Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hey, so the object that I'm going to put into my to the time capsule is this lightning USB-C, a USB-A lightning cable kind of conversion tool, which I sometimes use to, well, when I had my old iPhone 13, I used to use this to kind of transfer my data from that phone to the computer. But in 2045, I feel like that's just going to be like an obsolete technology. So I think that's the reason why I picked this tool to put into the time capsule. What else did you want me to share? What 2045 will look like?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So I think, first of all, like in terms of AI, I think personal AI that we don't have right now, I think will be a lot more useful 20 years from now. So my dad and I were just talking a couple of days ago. We were having to do like, he recently moved from like BC to Alberta. So we had to go to the registry and file an application and submit a photo and fill out this document form and get all the things sorted for the vehicle, get insurance ready. And I feel like in 20 years from now, there will be a good enough AI personal assistant that will be able to take care of those kind of daily tasks that are not really complex in task. So personal AI assistants, I feel like will be more predominant in the future. Also, I think transportation-wise, self-driving cars will be majority of the vehicles on the road in 20 years from now. There will still be cars where humans drive, but it will be kind of a niche market. I feel like people will kind of shift towards treating transportation as more of like a kind of point A to point B type of thing, and people who will drive the cars will be those who just purely do it for fun and enjoyment, not for transportation. A lot more mixed and augmented reality with either VR or AR or wearable tech. I think will be more prominent in the future. Instant real-time translation wherever you go in the world. So global, I think it will just eliminate all language barriers. Listening to podcasts about Jensen Huang and all these other tech leaders, I feel like there's going to be a huge energy sector improvement in terms of nuclear power. They're right now mainly limited by the lack of electrons and electricity generation. So I think the world will head more towards nuclear power plants to keep up with the demand of all the AI that we use in the future. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You kind of touched on like all components of life, and I also like the tool that you added. I know like I literally just ordered a like an SD card to iPhone like adapter, and I was
Yeah.
like it's like such a cool technology for me, but I'm like yeah, probably in like 5 years time it's going to be so outdated. So
No
yeah, I'm excited to see those changes. Thank you for sharing, Jimmy.
worries.
Awesome. And then Nicholas, if you'd like to also say something.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess starting with my contribution, maybe a picture of what a smart watch looks like in today's day, and also a picture of how like the companion apps that go along with them. I think that like just based on my presentation in LabMP and also just how I see the future coming along, that'll probably get improved substantially. They may look very differently. We may even see them become like holographic. They might become smaller. So I see hardware changing a lot. Like in the past, I've kept a lot up with tech ever since I've been a kid, and I noticed in the past like 5, 6 years, I think the improvements have been somewhat incremental in like day-to-day hardware, like phones. They just tend to have a bit more processing speed or a slightly larger battery, but nothing as legendary as, say, the introduction of wireless charging or super fast charging. And I see that changing in 2045. And also just based on what I've learned in the course with the singularity and Moore's law, which I wasn't aware of, the law of exponential improvement. And so I see even aspects of our daily life, like just to expand on what Jimmy said, I had seen a headline of a study where potentially a fourth light may be added at traffic lights, where it could be a white light that indicates basically traffic flow has been so optimized by self-driving cars. Instead of following what would have been the typical nature of the intersection, just follow the car in front of you, which may be getting autonomously controlled. And so, yeah, I see the automation of a lot of aspects of our life changing and how we interact with tech. For example, with a laptop, you turn it on and you start typing, or you move your mouse, but in the future, you may just be able to speak with it and it can actually interpret your commands very well and execute them very well. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for sharing. That is definitely a device that I've been seeing like a lot of improvements in. Like I know you can get like little ECGs and stuff on Apple Watches now, which is huge. So I think an image of that or like what the capabilities are right now, even seeing how that will change in 10 years time would be like awesome just to compare. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Nicholas. Really appreciate that. And then I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Is it Ryan?
Rian.
Oh, Rian, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I had a hard time thinking about something to include that hasn't already been included in the time capsule, but one thing maybe is even a picture of like the Zoom meeting we have today. I think that virtual meetings are going to change over time, and to touch on something Jimmy mentioned with augmented reality, I think that meetings like this are going to look very different in 20 years. We could potentially be having in-person virtual meetings where we look like we're all sitting around a table together, but we're all at different parts of the campus and are actually just doing these from our desks. So that would be my contribution. One thing I think that will change in the future. Maybe one thing that hasn't been talked about is in medicine how things are going to change in 20 years. And I kind of talked about this during my presentation earlier this week, but monitoring is going to look very different. Diagnostics are going to look very different. I think that in 20 years, having better systems to pick up on and diagnose things. So, right now, our monitoring is basically reference ranges and what's inside and outside of reference ranges. But as we integrate AI more into medicine, we'll have actual diagnoses that are accurate that we can rely on that will offload a lot of work from physicians and nurses inside the hospital.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, that's something we haven't touched on yet, like just how medicine in general will change, and how the approach to medicine will change, diagnosis, etc. So it's a really good thing to touch on. And I just want to thank everyone for sharing your ideas and also just items that you plan on bringing in. And hopefully you're able to like coordinate with Dr. Solaz to kind of get it in at some point. I'm excited to see them all. So thank you so much. And that's kind of all for me. And then I'll kind of hand it off to Dr. Solaz to talk about anything else. I think you still might be muted, Dr. Solaz.
That would help. Yeah, I have a large collection of stuff from previous sessions like this. There were some years when every student wrote a sort of note, and yeah, there were various things that we've done, and they brought in objects. And then from 2020, of course, we have the life-size cutouts. It started, we had the royal family and some other fictitious characters and characters from Big Bang Theory and so on. But then we got into doing the students, and we basically did, I think, all the students who were taking the course at that time. And some of the students got very much into it. Taryn Stokowski had 3 cutouts of herself and then a big cutout of the 3 together. And she put them in various parts of her house, sort of frightened people. I think it was quite effective. Yeah. So that will also it may be in a separate container and so on, but a number of people have given formal authorization to have their cutouts in the time capsule. So probably we'll have one container with little things and one container with these big things. And we could have more of them, if somebody wants a coroplast cutout of themselves, we could do it even in 2025. They don't all have to be from 2020. Yeah, and so I guess the big thing is, do any of you feel strongly about the timing here? Like, is there something, do we need to do something by the end of this month or else the whole thing's ruined? Or do I think that the magic of the number 2045 has been softened a bit because most people think that the singularity will occur before then, right? So but we don't have to match it exactly. So like we could do 2026 to 2046. I don't know. What do all of you feel? Do you regard 2045 as a really special, charmed number? Or does it mean nothing to you? And would 2046 be just as good? Or how close do you think we are to finalizing this? Any thoughts on that?
I think 2045 sounds good. 20 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I mean, we could modify it. In other words, if we bring together the stuff we have now, and if we transfer it all to Pram, um, that doesn't mean she has to have the final containers right away, right? I mean, we could give some thought to what they should be like and so on. But maybe in terms of the transfer of information from the students, maybe we would make this class the last class taking part in terms of actually contributing. That makes this class kind of special. It is kind of special anyway. We think it'll be quite a while before we have two cardiac surgeons again, plus a pre-med student who's already gotten into medical school. All three of those are pretty unusual human beings. So those are the three students that we have at the moment. So maybe that's a good class to end with, this kind of distinctive three people like that. And I'm fine with that. I don't feel we need to continue this forever. Pram has other things to do with her life beyond giving sessions like this over and over and over again. Yeah, so does anybody object to that? Does anyone present feel that we need more time and we should involve the students in 2026 and so on? Does anybody hold that opinion? Speak now or forever.
I feel like if we actually keep going forwards, the effect of the time capsule might be more muted, actually, because we've already seen like so many huge jumps in AI alone. So actually, it might be an ideal time to stop and yeah, cut it off here, as you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's right. We're kind of in a limbo period, eh? That 2026, a lot of the big visual things that artificial general intelligence and super intelligence are going to bring about haven't happened yet, but they will happen soon. So yeah, it might be an ideal time to start because of the dramatic changes that will come in the next few years. Okay, well that sounds fine to me, and so that's what we'll do. We'll make this class the last class taking part, and yeah, so that's good. And I guess let's say that you have until the end of the month to like contribute additional things if you want to, or to write things, or to, create a video or whatever if you want. All these things are voluntary. Um, yeah. No, I think that makes a better story. The story of us meeting and then deciding that we weren't finished yet and we're going to go beyond 2025 kind of wrecks the timing of it in some ways. Yeah. So that's fine. Pram, when will you physically be in the city, or are you going to be in Edmonton over the holidays?
Yeah, I'll be here for like the entire holiday period.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
fine. Yeah. So you just let me know, and I my wife will be very happy to get rid of all this stuff that we have in our basement, so it will declutter things quite a bit for us. And like the new double copies, like we made more than one copy thinking that the students would want one copy for themselves, but some of them didn't. So we have duplicates, and you can decide over time whether to shred the extra ones or what you're gonna do with the duplicate cutouts, but we'll leave that onerous decision up to you. Um, maybe you can take a page from Taryn's book and put them around your house and scare people and so on for a while until they get used to the joke. So that's fine. Okay, and I will also get out of storage the things that I think, I mean, the cutouts of me, I guess, are important in that that's the way the whole thing started, that my boss at the time, Michael Mengel, walked into the room, saw the cutouts of the royal family, and thought there should be cutouts of me. So that's what we did next, is to get cutouts of me. And we did a kind of, there was a young people's poetry contest for people of color. So it was kind of like specific. And during that, people competed to take pictures of me that would become the cutouts. And then we used the best to make the cutouts of me from the basically the parents of the students who were doing the poetry contest. And so that's how it was kind of an idiosyncratic way that the thing began. And then we got the idea, and we had a forum, a regular university forum where the students gave permission for getting this done, and where they indicated whether their cutout could be publicly displayed or not. So anyway, that's all cool. But yeah, so that's fine. And no, I'm proud of this as a kind of phase of the course completed, right? I mean, you can imagine the course would sort of evolve over time, and it gives someone else the opportunity in 2026 to suggest something new. You know, we've done the time capsule, and what should we do next? You know, yeah. So that I think will work well. One thing that's unusual about my career, most times when somebody goes to emeritus status, they lose their office. And I mean, they may get a new office in some other building, but they have to depart from the active parts of the hospital. But that's not happening with me. I'm keeping my office. So that's sort of cool. And I have some cutouts here, but I think I'll probably keep here because they're kind of a part of an expected part of the landscape here. Yeah. Yeah, so let's have some more discussion from anybody who wants to discuss things. Let's call on Sarjana again. Yeah, do you have thoughts about this? Feelings one way or the other? Are you thinking we shouldn't stop, we should keep going, or anything else?
Yes, I would say that overall, I echo some of the ideas that others mentioned earlier. So, in terms of 2045 being the year for the capsule and 2025 being our cutoff, I think overall that's a good timeline because as some others have mentioned, we are getting very close, I believe, to the technological singularity. And I think we will see that rapid, progression in AI and super AI within probably a couple of years now. So in 2045, we'll probably be a couple of years away from the technological singularity, or at least that's what I
Yeah,
guess
things will
most
be
experts
extremely
predict.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just the distance that we'll have at that point from the year 2025 will make for a very interesting time capsule. Um,
Wonderful. Okay, no, that sounds good. So Pram was also thinking maybe of doing some fundraising. I don't know. Do you still feel like doing that? That was when you were going to have it in the U of C building, right? So that there probably would have been real costs, not necessarily that we needed to cover, but somebody if we're going to put it in the U of C building. But probably your parents or the people living in your house here are not going to charge us for the things that the UC would have charged us for. Yeah, yeah. So that's okay. Yeah. So Pram, are there any other ways that we can help you with this, or any things that I haven't mentioned that are necessary for its successful completion?
No, I think as long as everyone gets their items in, like in over the break or just sometime in December, that would be awesome because then I can come and collect it and get it stored
Right.
this month before the new year, then that would just be awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it must be. Let me try something. I think I'll take a picture of my wife when I tell her that we can get rid of all this stuff. She'll be pretty happy. Well, let's see whether that would make a suitable cutout of her happy surprise that we were able to do that. But anyway, yeah, that's just a minor part of it. Yeah, and I'll tell the cat too, there are really three people living in our home, and the one in charge is definitely the cat. You can see that everything is oriented around the cat's welfare, and to some extent, that's true of the fish. The fish in the three fish tanks, sort of like the entertainment for the cat, right? And so it really is funny the way in which all big questions about what's going on in the house, whether the cat's in or out, and this and that, and have they been fed and so on. Yeah. So you might get the idea that our cat is a bit spoiled, but the cat would need to be informed because it is used to the items that are there, and now a whole bunch of them are going to be gone. So we have to disclose that to the cat. Yeah, so that's the deal. Yeah, and you can, I think, let me just make our politics clear here. We're sort of a pro-development family. Like, we're not opposed to single family houses being torn down and multi family buildings being built. So a lot of the planning for this has been influenced by that. So we can say that in another way, the time capsule is sort of connected to the future of the city in that way because it has influenced where it ended up and so on. And it, as much as I defended that loft location in retrospect for the way things look now, it looks like there are a lot of reasons not to put it there. So much that we just should withdraw the suggestion entirely. So yeah. Okay. And no, that's good. And at this time of the year, I have a lot of things on my plate, and getting your grades submitted will be one of them. But of course, another one is we have a student who's in charge of sending the course evaluation around, and I actually haven't contacted him yet, but we will now do that. So in the next few days, you'll be getting this evaluation to complete. That can also have dramatic effects on the future. All the special things about the course really came from comments. Like in the beginning, we didn't have any exams at all. I thought there would be a more desirable course without exams. And then people in the Faculty of Science found that the course didn't get any respect from their advisors. Didn't seem like a real course because it didn't have any exams. So that was when we put in the midterm. And there've been a whole bunch of sort of evolutionary steps like that. And it was the student comments that led to that. Also, we began with just one quantum biology lecture. It was incredibly packed. So the first thing was the students suggested international peer review of the lectures. And when we did that, the international peer reviewers said that the quantum biology lecture was much too like jammed full of consequential stuff, and it needed more time, and we should divide it into like 4 lectures and so on. So that's what we have ultimately done. Yeah, so a lot of the changes that we made that sort of look like give the course a unique face. Also, I want to tell you about one student. I won't give you the name, but you know that there's a famous song from the 60s about what culture back then, and it has the line, the marching band refused to yield. So we had a moment like that. Imagine one of you giving your final presentation and it was late beyond where we had the room booked. So the next group of people came in and demanded the room. He kept on presenting and we kept on commenting. It's all on video. And I mean, if you think of a way to make your presentation unique, that was certainly it. He refused to stand down. But the people were so surprised. They sort of covered their mouths and they couldn't believe this outrageous behavior on behalf of LABMP 590. But it worked. They let us complete that presentation, and I've shown the video of that to the people that he's asked me to write recommendation letters to, and that seems to be working very well. I think this is the kind of guy we need, Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So there are other. I won't bore you with any other stories about unique events in the course. Well, maybe one others. One time when I fell asleep and I woke up, the students all how could you compliment somebody who just fell asleep? I tell you, graceful I was when I was sleeping. It's a ridiculous conversation. Yeah, so that maybe that was like a low point in the course. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So any other thing that any of you wish to say, that if we stop early and you don't get to talk, you'll really feel disappointed? Are you just bursting with any additional comments, or shall we leave it with what we have? Anyone have anything additional? Well, Pram is a busy medical student, and I'm sure if we end early, that'll be good for her. Yeah, and remember, she's still in charge of our long range planning for Kim Sola's stuff. So that will still occupy her from time to time. Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you for those students for taking the course. Suggest the course to others. Yeah, if we could get more pre-med students already getting into medical school and more cardiac surgeons. That would be great. So see if you can replicate yourself in the course. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very, very much. Send stuff to Pram for the time capsule and have a wonderful Christmas and wonderful 2026. Okay. Bye-bye now. Yeah.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thanks, Dr. Celeste.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Solis.
You bet. Yeah. Bye.